Welcome. This is a presentation entitled Quality Assurance in Type of Emergency Remote Teaching. This presentation has a main aim to explain the activities of the Quality Assurance Agency in Catalonia during this period of time. The presenters are Esther Huertas, this is me, and my colleague Concepción Herruzo. Once the Spanish government approved the state of emergency in March this year, AQU Catalunya provided a quick response from the internal and external point of view. From the internal point of view, the agency activated for the very first time its contingency plan in order to protect the health of the staff, but at the same time, in order to continue the activity, as the agency has to provide services to the society and to the higher education system. It is important to say that the agency provided quick answers to the doubts raised by higher education institutions and also in order to safeguard students' rights. During this period of time, the agency prepared a lot of documents, protocols, in order to provide clear information to the system, as you can see in this slide. It was obvious that the strategy of the agency has to be adapted based on two main elements, as I have already said, in order to safeguard students' rights and to avoid work overload of higher education institutions. But before moving further into the details of the strategy of the agency, I would like to focus on the three different moments we found this year. At the beginning of the year, institutions were doing the regular teaching. Then we've got the pandemic and the approval of the state of emergency. So higher education institutions have to move very quickly to the emergency remote teaching, which is a temporary shift of instructional delivery due to the crisis circumstances. Right now, we can say that we are in the exceptional teaching moment. It is important to say that higher education system in Catalonia reached two different agreements in order to finalize the last course and in order to determine different academic measures for the present course. This course is implemented in the exceptional teaching moment. This means that there's an adaptation of the teaching and learning process, which means that this is limited in time, that it doesn't mean that on-site universities are going to move to online universities, and there was a need in order to define a new concept of teaching and learning process in order to differentiate it from distance learning. Which are the main elements that we have to pay attention in this exceptional teaching moment? When talking about the teaching and learning process, institutions have to guarantee the same learning outcomes. There should be a coherence between the pedagogical model, the teaching methodology, and the assessment model. And it is also important, or even more important, the continuous assessment. Professors should be trained in this scenario, and institutions should provide or publish clear information on changes. There should be an adaptation of resources, and also the support students should be adapted to. Institutions should have to pay attention to internship and final project. Those changes should be recorded and followed by higher education institutions, and those changes should be introduced following the European standards and guidelines. When assessing changes, we classify them in permanent and non-permanent ones. Permanent changes must follow regular procedures, while non-permanent changes are implemented during this exceptional period. Higher education institutions must inform at their annual monitoring progress report, and AQU Catalunya will assess those changes at the follow-up and the accreditation procedures. Relevant evidences during these procedures will be the syllabus, the adapted syllabus, the learning outcomes, and the feedback from students and professors. There are four main areas that are the most important ones when talking about the AQU Catalunya strategy. As I have already said, we have to continue with the review procedures. We were aware that the time limits for submission and also for resolution of the external evaluation procedures should be adapted during the emergency period of time. It was agreed that the meetings should be organized in an online way, and we have to adapt the procedures in order to be carried out in a remote way. Now, I leave the floor to my colleague Herruzo, who is going to present more details about the experience of the agency organizing the site visits.
Thank you, Esther. I will focus on how AQU and Catalan universities have adapted site visit activity for 2020 to the public health outbreak. At the beginning of the year, we had planned 84 site visits for the accreditation of 130 degrees delivered in the system, from bachelor's to doctoral programs. We were able to carry out 13 site visits before everything changed. Last face-to-face visit took place on March 5th, and we held our first virtual visit on March 20. This means that in just 15 days, AQU developed flexible action protocols to ensure the continuity and quality of its reviewing activity. So, replanning 2020 site visits was a must, and it's fair to say that not an easy one. AQU and the 12 universities in the system worked together intensively to adjust plans, and before the summer, a new agenda of 49 virtual visits was approved. It's important to say that it was agreed to put on hold the accreditation of health science programs and those other belonging to areas especially hit by the epidemiological situation until institutions and stakeholders involved are ready. We will now take a quick look at what we consider to be key aspects in the transition from in-person to online visits. First, it's important to provide panel and higher education institutions involved with clear and concise instructions regarding the process and their role in it. Second, review panels need training and support. For every visit plan, there's an AQU staff member assigned as a backup for any assistance. Third, agenda has to be adapted. We recommend avoiding full-day working sessions and splitting the visit in 2 or 3 days, having breaks of 15 minutes between meetings and not exceeding 10 people interviewed in each session. Finally, and obviously it's not possible to carry out any of this without a video conferencing platform, so that a robust and easy-use system has been selected, with features that meet the needs of the process designed, such as a waiting room for the attendees. From the experience gained in these months, we can point out a set of general challenges for the whole system associated with the external evaluation processes in this new scenario. For example, the management of uncertainty, safeguarding the rights of students, ensuring the same level of quality assurance, or the loss of personal contact. Turning to at an agency level, we can list some of the challenges AQU is facing now, such as responding quickly and precisely to the needs and requirements of the Catalan university system, establishing effective communication with universities and other higher education institutions, and flexibility to replan or redesign when needed QA procedures quickly and smoothly. And I would like to end with a final thought. After some months immersed in this virtual mode live, we can say that virtual site visits work very similarly to those ones on the ground. At the very beginning, universities, and maybe we as well, were a little bit skeptical with the new format and concerned about its possible negative impact on the result of the program accreditation. After having held at least one virtual visit in every university in the system, this perception has changed, and this is a good thing since virtual visits have come to stay. Thank you very much for your attention.